Hey, we're here. We told you Tuesday night. It's a short week for us and the Packers, and we're here for a not exactly a game review show, kind of a mixture, a whole bunch of stuff because it's a Thursday night game for the Packers. So we got to cover a lot of ground, and then on top of all that stuff that we normally would do with, say, the Packers, talking about the last game, talking about what's coming up, we got COVID problems for the Packers too. So holy crap, there's lots going on, lots going on. I'm sure you all have heard of that. We'll get into that in a little bit because some of you might once the people that get the notifications that we're going live, because we didn't tell you, they might have some concerns or some things to say about that. So we'll get to that. I also want to Ben. I want to show two plays tonight, and also want to bring up some brief observations about some different players. I sent you a list of them. These tonight's show is structured by my thoughts at 2:21 in the morning that I sent to text to Ben. So that's the structure of tonight's
Which I
show.
didn't even look at.
Wow. Oh, 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 it hurts. Well, no thanks to you. No thanks to you. Okay, Ben. It was a game again. The Packers win. It's not overly exciting. It's not a game where everyone's like, "Oh my God, they blew them out." It's not a game where it was terrible. It was just a game where they played. They did what they had to do and they won. So I don't know. Is that bad?
Yeah.
Why is it bad? Tell me. Because there's a whole lot of other teams that would like to be 6-1 right now that are not.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
Because what's everybody talking about after the game? What's the big positive thing after the game that that they're staking their claim to the victory? Why did we get the victory?
Well, I can
What,
tell you. I can tell
what's
you what
everybody talking about?
the defense going for holding them out 0 for 4 in the red zone. Is that what they're
Yep.
talking about?
That's what they're talking about.
That's what they're talking about. After allowing
That's what
15
they're
for
talking about.
15 in the red zone. And instead, this was really funny. Instead, this game, rather than doing what they've done all year, which is actually be pretty good at getting off the field on third down, but being really bad in the red zone, instead, this game, they did what the Packers did for like the last 10 years, which is let them go up and down the field and have way more yards than the Packers and control the ball, but then stiffen up in the red zone and stop them. Now, it wasn't just that the Packers D stiffened up, it was that Ben did the Packers a favor, and started Tyler Heineke in
Oh,
his
wait.
right.
You can't stop there. We have to address the situation.
Well, come on.
Did the Packers defense really step up?
Well, if Terry
Did the
McLaurin wouldn't
Packers
try to catch the
defense
ball with his
really
face,
hold them out of the end zone?
I would say on some plays.
I would say on none plays.
What the fourth down play
Which one?
after the fourth down play after Tyler Heineke got cursed by you and decided to inexplicably go to a knee, um, and make himself down short of the goal line when he had a clear touchdown.
That's a touchdown. I don't care what anybody says.
What's the stupidest?
Also, the very next play, he reached over, he fumbled it, got it, then reached over. He was never down. They called him down. He was never down. The ball sat on a guy's back. He picked it up again and went over the goal line. That's a touchdown. So they didn't stop him there. The next time, Adrian Amos on fourth down was pass interference. They didn't call it.
No, that was well
What
played.
resulted if what Douglas did earlier in the game is pass
Well,
interference,
come on, we'll get into
then
that.
what Adrian Amos did is definitely pass interference. He got there way before the ball got there, wrapped his arm around him, and freaking broke the play up.
We'll
That's
get
called
into
pass interference.
we'll get into that bogus call on Douglas because Douglas is somebody I want to talk about. But
No, I'm not done.
the third down play
Yeah,
before that was Terry McLaurin like wide open. He can't catch. He tries to catch the ball with his shoulder or his face. I don't know what it was, but his hands over here and the ball like smacked him over here. I was like, are you looking at the ball? I mean,
and then when it comes to the Shannon Sullivan interception, it was a nice play and it
that
was
was a
awesome.
Tremont. That was Tremont.
And he's one of my favorite guys.
Tremont esque right there, buddy.
But would Taylor Heineke have thrown that pass if they weren't down by a bunch of scores and they had to just get the ball in there and try to win? to try to get some points and get yourselves back in the game?
I don't know.
They would have been smarter and more strategic and got the ball down there. And listen, everybody's saying how great the defense played, how awesome it was that everybody that listen.
I'm not saying that.
The defense looked like crap most of the time. They had pressure. I mean, I'm not saying like crap. Let me rephrase.
Go for it.
They had decent pressure. The first touchdown, Jalen Smith got in there, beat the halfback, got to the quarterback, and just didn't make the tackle. Like, what's he doing? And there's a couple other times where Jalen Smith just looked like he's running around and like he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He looks worse than
That's true.
He looks worse than Martin did last year. At least Martin would sometimes like make a play. Jalen Smith just seems to run around and he's looking backwards. He's looking over here. Like, what's going on with that guy?
That touchdown play you reference leads me to another player I want to talk about. And there's some clear things with him that have been shown over this time period, which are concerning. And a lot of people have told me the same thing. And I will acknowledge what they've told me, but I'll also acknowledge how that doesn't make me feel better about said player. So I think that's important to point out too, but continue on.
I'm just saying, everybody's holding their hat on how the defense stopped them out of the red zone or stopped them in the red zone, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't. The Washington football team stopped themselves in the red zone and the officials stopped them in the red zone. That's it. Add those 14 points back. Call pass interference and Agent Amos.
And you stopped
the actual touchdown he got.
You stopped him. No, it's a rule, dude. It's a stupid rule, but it's a rule. Going to the ground on your own, whether you're going forward or you're sliding back. Did you say that? Let me finish. Going to the ground, whether you're going forward or you're sliding feet first, you are giving yourself up. And as soon as you touch down, you are marked down. So why did he do it? The only thing I can think of is that you picked him up in fantasy and put the curse on him. Thank you for that. That's
the only
it.
thing I can think of is the officials wanted to make sure the Packers won the game.
No, come on.
I have to be completely honest.
Come on.
I am becoming less and less of a Packer fan.
Oh,
I am less and less feeling like wanting to do these shows.
Oh,
because I'm starting to watch the games as a fan of football and wanting to see good football. And I don't know if I'm seeing good football on this team.
Okay. It's time to show you, in my estimation, the number 2 play of the game. Hopefully bring you back a little bit, becoming a fan of the Packers. Now, we all know the number 1 play of the game was 1st and 17 after a penalty. Aaron Rodgers, crazy throw, but even crazier catch by Devontae Adams, which he's now out due to COVID. That's a problem. But that was an insane play. Insane play. Great catch. Incredible play. Should have never happened. Got him out of a big hole after they were pinned way back after that whole stupid series of events. But the number 2 play of the game. The number 2 play of the game. Do you know what it is, man?
I'm sure it's Lucas Patrick.
It is Lucas Patrick because he saved the day. It is 5 minutes left in the third quarter here. Packers are pinned back, 3rd and 7. It's 21-7. Yeah, they got the lead, but they're on the 4-yard line right here. 4-yard line. 4-yard line. Let's just take a sneak peek about what happens here. Rodgers back to pass, throws a little dump off to A.J. Dillon like you'd expect, right? That's fine. It's a safe play. Maybe he breaks the tackle and gets the first down. At a 250-pound back going against a defensive back, you'd maybe like him to break 1 tackle there and maybe get a first down. It doesn't happen. And on top of it, he fumbles the ball. And who's the guy to get it? Who's the guy that covers it up? Lucas Patrick saved the damn day right there. After that close call that Ben just described, which could have been a touchdown, could have been a second touchdown by Heineke. The Packers get out of it. They're still ahead by 14. AJ Dillon fumbles on the 6-yard line. The only person in the screen to come and get it is 62. Now, you know what happens? You know why this is a play of the game? Not just that he just engulfed the ball and actually came up with it, unlike Darnell Savage, who like has the ball in his hands and can't corral it for whatever crazy ass reason. But it's also because normal guys, normal offensive linemen on a play like that, they just stand there and watch the run back. Oh, he caught it. That's nice. And they just stand there and watch him run, right? Well, not Lucas Patrick. That play, he doesn't. That fumble is recovered by Washington unless that guy is in the game. If that guy's not in the game, that is recovered by Washington because he's the only guy who decided to run downfield to see if he could maybe help out and maybe get a block or pick his guy up after he got tackled. He freaking saved the game right there. 5 minutes left in the third. They're only ahead.
I don't know if he saved the game because they just went all the way down the field and got to the red zone again.
Yeah, but they still had to take time off the clock and other
things.
Which
takes time off the offense getting the ball and doing things.
Well, they didn't do much right there. Of course, that part of that was because Aaron Jones wasn't in that series. It was just AJ Dillon's series. And that's a whole nother thing. Aaron Jones equals first down. I said it numerous times during the game, and Aaron Jones is in the game, including his first catch where he had a critical third down conversion, which is insane because he shouldn't have got the first down, but he did. And that drive turned into a touchdown. But AJ Dillon on drives where it was just, oh, this is an AJ Dillon drive, they went nowhere. When Aaron Jones is in the game, Aaron Jones equals first downs. AJ Dillon is nice, but AJ Dillon does not equal first downs. Sorry, not with this team, not with this offensive line. Pretty clear. If you don't understand that as a Packers fan, you should. So what do you think of that?
I think that's. Listen.
All right, I'll listen. What's up?
It's not surprising that Lukey Patrick's the only guy running down there.
I know that, but like,
I mean, we've seen things. I've shown you things. You know, in the one big Aaron Jones run he had where Randall Cobb is the guy running down, right? And Yash was running after him. MVS is a guy who always gets in the mix. He always tries to get into play. I don't know if anybody's seen the Rock report for the last couple. I don't know what it was, but he showed the play where Douglas caused the fumble, and Douglas was playing corner on the opposite side of the field. I didn't know this during the game, but the Rock showed the all-22, and here comes Rasul Douglas all the way from the other side of the field, runs all the way across, smacks the dude, and causes a fumble for the Packers to get because of a hustle play. That's the difference between winning games and losing games. It's one thing to be a good player who makes a play when it's right there in front of you, but a player who seeks to make a play, those are my favorite players. The Lukey Patrick, who blocks till the whistle, or when the ball is completed, he moves downfield the best he can to try to get in there and make a play and help out in whatever way it is. Douglas, who just goes all the way from one side of the field to the other side and then causes a fumble. I mean, the guy played so hard, he freaking hurt himself on a tackle, stuff in the run, and he goes back in there again. I mean, he should have had 2 pass breakups. They only gave him 1, and they call him pass interference, which is bull crap.
That was total crap.
That guy's playing awesome. Lukey Patrick. I mean, there's that one player, Lukey Patrick blew. I mean, the guy was just kicking his butt.
They all kind of got screwed up on that. They are allowed shifting right,
I know,
and they all ran back left on this big stunt, and they were like, "Holy crap!" They're
either
all
way. Why are they doing a pull block on a passing play?
They were all slanting to the right.
I know.
They thought they had numbers. And let me say this.
Well, they weren't all slanting because
no,
Runyon,
just the right
Bunyan
side.
wasn't slanting that way.
Right. But I will say you got to give Washington credit on this. Their front knows how to run stunts. They did a very good job running stunts in this game. Hey, Bernard, how you doing? Bernard's scared by the upcoming game. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about Rasul Douglas real quick. Ben, is he like? I mean, is it? What else does he have to do to secure a starting spot on this team, regardless of who's healthy?
I don't know,
Anything?
but I'm
He's
gonna probably
awesome.
I'm gonna say something controversial, and I know people are gonna think I'm an idiot.
Hopefully not about Rasul Douglas because he's really good.
I think Rasul Douglas is the best cornerback we've had since Tremont Williams in his heyday, and that includes Jair Alexander.
Ooh,
Jair Alexander is a nice guy,
Julian.
okay, but he does not play the run well. The one time he did play the run, he hurt himself, and he's been out for 3-4 games now.
That's true.
Where Douglas is a bigger guy, he's physical, he plays to the whistle, he hustles and runs around all over the place. He has the ability to stick with guys. He plays the ball well. I think he's really, really good. Like
How was he?
really, 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 really good.
How was he on somebody's practice squad?
Arizona's practice squad. This is a get back game coming up Thursday night for him. So he wasn't good enough to be on Arizona's team. And he's like the best corner the Packers have. So that tells you something right there. Bernard saying, Ben, stop. Listen, Bernard. I'm not making crap up. As a complete player, and I love Jair. I think I've honestly said he's one of my favorite guys. I think he's smart. I think he plays great. I love his headspace. I love his, his Julian sunglasses stuff. I like all that stuff. But he does have some inefficiencies because he's smaller, not great against the run. He doesn't like to get. I mean, can people remember the NFC Championship game? Leonard Fournette had a big, huge touchdown on his side, and Jair kind of was like, I don't know if I want to get in here and make this play. He was the guy who had the outside contained. He didn't. Fournette had a 20-yard touchdown, and that pretty much blew the game to like 3 scores or whatever. And the Packers, sure, they got a bunch of interceptions, and he got 2 to bring him back in later. But whatever. I'm not saying that Douglas is a better cover corner than Jair. That's not true. I think he is just a better overall defensive player. That's all.
I can't argue with you. Can't argue with you. Bernard, we'll get to that stuff in just a minute. Before we move on to talk about a couple things Bernard's worried about, which leads us to national media real quick, which I did want to address. The other corner who's playing a lot right now, Eric Stokes. Okay, quick observation on Eric Stokes. Now I understand he made some pass breakups. That's great. But one thing he cannot do, including on that duck throw on Jalen Smith's, where he could have almost got the sack in the middle of the field, where Stokes is one-on-one with McLaurin, he just cannot locate the ball. He doesn't turn around to locate the ball. What he does well, okay, is if it's a comeback or if it's an out or an in where the pass pattern is broken off, he does close well. But when he's got to run, it's so weird because he's supposed to be super fast, right? And you think the super fast guy is a guy that protects the deep plays. But he's terrible against the deep plays because he does not look for the ball. When he's running downfield with someone, he never turns. He's missed 4 interceptions already this year on ducks that could have been picked. If he could just turn around and locate the ball, because they're not good throws. And he's close to the guy. It's just that he doesn't turn his head and look for the ball. So, and right away I'm getting messages from people saying he's a rookie, he'll get better. Okay, that stuff isn't really something you can teach a guy. That's instincts. That's timing. That's something Tremont did right out of the gate. Right? That's something Tremont was great at from early on, right when he started playing for the Packers, getting his head around, looking for the ball. That's not something you can kind of coach into a guy very easily. I don't think that's possible. And that makes me think Eric Stokes might be okay, but he's not going to be a great corner, and he's not worth a first-round pick. He's still better than Kevin King, don't get me wrong, but That's an observation I have of him. And I don't think it's going to magically get better.
Well, he suffers from the same thing that Darnell Savage suffers from, and also the same thing that HaHa Clinton Dix suffered from his rookie year, and that's misjudging the ball when it's a deep pass and high in the air and coming down. Like they don't know where it is, they can't find it. They misjudge plays quite often. But I got to tell you, when you watch the one-on-one, when they show the one-on-one video of Stokes at a lot of these plays, I love his coverage, dude. I love how he can stick with the guy. He turns with them. He almost runs the route with some guys, and he breaks up passes. And more often than not, he is in pretty good position on those type of plays. I really like it when they play him bump and run up close against receivers, because he seems to be able to turn, and you wouldn't think it because they said he had no hips and no movement side to side, but he seems to do a great job of reading the receiver's body language and then breaking up passes on out routes and comebacks and stuff like that. He seems to really do a good job. So I think if part of it, I think, is when those deep plays happen, I think he knows he's got like no help there. You know what I mean? And he kind of freaks out, maybe. And maybe with more experience, he won't freak out as much.
I hope so. Or
I think he's good. I mean, I like him. You know, I think Razul, I think Douglas is good too. Like I just like both of their demeanors they're different. I think Douglas is a little more in your face, and hustles a lot more than Stokes does. But that's because Douglas is like a fourth year guy coming off the practice squad, right? Where Stokes is a first round pick rookie who's, you know, maybe kind of, I'm not saying he's going through the motions, but you know what I mean? Like he knows he's not going to get cut tomorrow, where Douglas doesn't know. He might get cut tomorrow. He knows if King and Jair come back, are they going to keep him? They should, because he's good. Matter of fact, they should sign him now just give him on the cheap for the future. I think he's a really, really good player. Get rid of Kevin King. He's your fourth guy, third guy, you know, and Stokes, I think, has got potential, dude. I mean, yeah, he misjudges some plays.
all right.
But I've seen more third downs this season where he's broken up the pass and caused a fourth down or something like that. I just think he's doing great.
On plays where the receiver breaks the route off, right? Where he can
they're out routes or comebacks or whatever.
Is that what I said? He's good.
They're third down. When he knows,
but it's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. On plays like that, he is doing well. He's doing very well. But on plays where they go deep on him, it's just weird. He doesn't get his head around. But anyway.
Here's the thing. Jalen Smith got there and should have made the sack, so it wouldn't have mattered. More often than not, the pressure should get there by that point on a deep pass like that.
All right. Okay? All right. Fair
enough. On the plays where there isn't as much pressure and he's got to cover the guy within, 15 yards of the line of scrimmage, he's been getting better every week, I think. Yeah, he had that one game where he gave up a lot. I think it was against the Bengals or somebody where he gave a bunch of passes or whatever. But
apparently
I think he's doing better.
Apparently, Jamar Chase is a superstar.
Dude, he's killing it. 200 some yards,
destroying everybody. Okay, let's get to a couple other things because we got a lot of topics, so we'll keep moving here. Okay, good enough. All right, Bernard brings this up. We're not going to dwell on it, but we are going to say it because I do have one really interesting thing. So the national media here. Now, okay, so the Packers are one of a few one-loss teams, right? And the national media is all over all these other teams, yet downplaying the Pack. The Packers are just not that impressive. They're just not.
They're not.
It's not very good.
Not.
Yes, but they're talking like the Cowboys. They're not as good as the Cowboys. Do you believe in Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys over this Packers team and this Packers coaching staff?
The Cowboys have a dynamic team with players who can take the roof off and go crazy on offense. And defense, they got guys making plays, getting interceptions, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Listen, the Packers are a team who can barely beat the Steelers, the Bengals. They don't look good against they look terrible against Steelers. If it was for Ben Roethlisberger sucking, they would have lost. Washington football team, they didn't look good. They won, but it didn't look good. They couldn't run the ball. They can't run block at all against them. They look terrible. Dude, the mustache thing is really annoying. Just stop it. I'm trying to talk. Anyways, and just let them. I don't. You said something last week too about, like, on Friday, about the Aaron Rodgers, and nobody will talk about the Packers if it wasn't fair. Like, who gives a crap about all the talk? Who cares if the national media is talking down on the Packers? I don't care.
It's better for them.
If they keep winning, and then they get to the game, and then they win the Super Bowl, then they'll talk about them for the whole freaking damn offseason. Okay? I don't care what they're talking about now. Doesn't matter to me. This team has got like 20% of their freaking starting roster, or 20% of the opening day roster isn't even on the dang freaking team right now because they're hurt or COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually this is the most excited I've been in a long time to watch a Packer game. This game is, if they win this game, they are definitely the underdogs.
Yeah, they have.
If they win this game, this is going to be a coaching challenge on a short week. Rodgers is going to have to run the offense. He's going to have to get guys involved. And I hate to say this. I don't hate to say it, but you remember last time?
You never hate to see it.
There was a game where both Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard weren't in it.
Is that last year?
Yeah. Remember what that was? It was also a primetime game. It was a Monday night game.
It's against Atlanta?
Yeah.
Atlanta's bad, though.
Robert Tonyan had 3 touchdowns in that game.
I mean, he could be great again. They got to use him.
He's going to be great. And Aaron Jones is going to be great. And Randall Cobb is going to be great. And the offense is going to be fine.
I hope so. They got to possess the ball. I mean, they got to possess the ball. They got to do what they've done, like in some of these games where they're not. Now, MVS might come back. Bernard mentioned that earlier, and that would be helpful. But at the same time, I think, especially to give their defense a break and all that stuff, they gotta have like sustained drives. So, short pass game, quick game. Let's do some of that. Let's take what they give you. Let's play that game more, and then run the ball and all that stuff. It's going to be important because, look, I think, I'm still so concerned. Are you concerned about the undisciplined pass rush of this team that continues to be an issue? I mean, they let big gaping holes for Tyler Heineke to run all over the joint. He had 95 yards. If they were playing Arizona and they played that way, how many yards did Kyler Murray have run it? Why would he throw it?
Okay,
why would he throw it?
With no Joe Barry, and now apparently
Johnny Gray,
Jerry Gray,
Jerry Gray
is going to be calling the defense. My hope is that they have a spy. My hope is that Jalen Smith is a quarterback spy. Period. Or somebody who can tackle. Shannon Sullivan. I don't care. Anybody. He can't really tackle that great. Make Douglas. Now Douglas got to play corner. Forget it. Make Jalen Smith quarterback spy. Period. That's his only job. Is to spy the quarterback. Every time. Period. End of story. I don't know if they're going to do that, but they should. One more thing. Today, I tried watching the Cardinals against the Houston Texans game, which was the last game. And this is another reason why I'm kind of like down on the NFL right now. The first quarter of that game, Houston destroyed them. Just destroyed them. The Cardinals had 0 points, couldn't move the ball. Kyler Murray got sacked 2 or 3 times. It was ridiculous. They didn't look good at all. The Cardinals looked like crap. And Houston got a bull crap call on them, which stalled their drive out, made them have to go third and 17, which they couldn't do. It was a bull crap call. And I've seen too much of this lately. And as a Packer fan, we're used to getting the bull crap calls on our side most of the time. This year has been kind of up and down where there's some crap calls. And then like against the 49ers, that game was awesome. Excuse me. We got screwed by the refs and then we came back and won it. I'm telling you now, the NFL is almost turning into the NBA for me, where it's like, it's obvious they're screwing guys. They're screwing teams left and right on stupid calls. And the Cardinals were terrible that first quarter. Terrible. And I don't know what happened after that because I stopped watching. Because I was like, well, because they won like 30-something to 3 or something like crazy number like that. And I'm like, what happened after that first quarter? I don't know. Maybe they turned it on, went nuts, go crazy. Maybe Houston got sick of getting screwed and they're like, listen, we can only try so far. And it's obvious they don't want us to win. So F it, we're not going to try no more. I don't know what happened exactly. But that first quarter, the Cardinals got destroyed. It was awesome. The other thing I heard a stat from watching that game, they said the Cardinals were ranked 31st in rushing yards per carry. So their rushing defense, not that great. Maybe their passing defense is pretty good. And yeah, they got J.J. Watt and some other guys. But maybe we can run on them. I don't know if our offensive line can block for a little bit.
Simmons has had some injury up and downs. Watt's been in and out. So they've had some injuries too on that front. So anyway, we talk about that. Hopefully, I mean, I think that's a big deal is controlling the ball, like I said. All right, a couple other players on the Packers side, just some observations to this point in the season. And maybe with some things here more recently, concerns or not concerns. What do you think about Whitney Merciless? What you saw out of him in his limited snaps?
Well, he had that one bull rush. I can't remember if it led to an incomplete pass or something. Something happened out of it. He did something good where he just ran right over the dude or shoved him into the quarterback, and I can't remember what all happened, but he can't be bad. I mean, with both Smiths hurt, or we need guys who can rush the quarterback and be smart enough and read plays and stuff like that. I mean, he seems like he's a smart guy and a decent player. So I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you what I saw. Now, granted, I don't know his disciplines or assignments in this defense. What in his first game, what they told him. If they just said go in and rush a passer, maybe that's all they said. Maybe
I'm pretty sure that's what they told him. He's been there for 2 days.
But there might also have been like, hey, you're outside contain on here, or when you rush, make sure you maintain outside contain. Might have at least been that. He seemed very like he was all over the place rushing. Like one time he took a huge inside move, which opened up the outside like crazy, easy escape to the outside on the side he was on. And then he ended up getting pushed way out of the play. Another time, well, a couple times, which is then they subbed him out shortly after this happened, 2 plays in a row, where he just kind of hovered over the middle and then didn't rush, but also didn't like kind of stop rushing, but also didn't drop into cover and just kind of stood there. And I was like, are you tired? Like, I'm not sure what's going on. Are you supposed to be a spy on this play? It doesn't seem like it. I'm confused. So I was a little underwhelmed. Like I just expected, okay, if you're going to get in there for 15, 20 plays, let's see maximum effort. Let's go at it. And I didn't see all that. I'm hoping that comes around a little more. So I think, a lot of growth there still for him. I hope we see it. What about, do you have concerns about AJ Dillon? I mean, he barely touched the ball this game and he fumbled twice. Any concerns there? Anybody else concerns? I got some. Guys can't fumble the ball, man. Not like that.
Maybe it'll be a wake-up call for him. I don't know. He's shown some things here and there, but not nearly enough to be a second-round pick. There was no reason for him to be a second-round pick. But I do like him. I think he can be good if they just use him right. But he's a downhill runner. He's a one cut and go. He's a Dorsey Levens. Have him, everybody. He's perfect for the flow inside zone run scheme or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody flow one way. You'll run that way, find a hole, make one cut and go. That's it. And then just get whatever you can out of it. Or even doing the double team run through, I think he's good. He's good for this running scheme, and I think he can be successful. I think he's just not used to the fumble he had on the pass catch. I think he just wasn't expecting, a guy to actually do that after a catch. The other one, he got hit when he's running. I don't know. I'm not that concerned.
I mean, he's supposed to be like when they want to close out games like this game where they're up and they're not trying to really push to score. They're just trying to chew some clock and get some first downs. Like he's supposed to be a guy they can lean on. And if he's not going to secure the ball, he doesn't give me a lot of confidence to be the guy you can lean on, which means then you still got to use Aaron Jones. And that's fine because I like Aaron Jones, but you don't want Aaron Jones like in a game that you basically have under control, getting chewed up or beat up or potentially even hurt when you got your 250-pound back who should be filling that role. So that gives me a little concern. Gives me a little bit. I did want to ask also, let's talk about the Lucas Patrick of the defense, a guy who all they wanted to do was find guys to take a spot, and he shows up in the game and makes some plays again. That's Shannon Sullivan. He looked pretty good. Thought he played well.
Yeah, he had a good game. But the problem is he's too inconsistent. He's one of my favorite guys. He has been for the last couple of years. Ever since the Seattle playoff game in 2019, when I told you that last play where Preston Smith got the sack, the only reason why he did was because Shannon Sullivan had I think he had a spy on Russell Wilson or something. And he just sat there and he was in the passing lane and Wilson wouldn't throw the slant. And before he knew it, he moved a little bit and Shannon moved with him. And then Preston got in there and made the sack. And the thing about Shannon Sullivan is a lot of times they'll blitz him and he just totally he sucks at blitzing. He doesn't get there. He doesn't know how to run through the line. He doesn't know how to sift through the offensive lineman and get to the quarterback. It's a waste sending him on a blitz. And he also doesn't have the speed to go catch up with big, fast guys. He's a little smaller, so he's not great against the run in the slot either. He's okay. He's got some deficiencies, but he works hard, and he's an undrafted free agent. And, I mean, what are you going to say? He is pretty good when he can catch the ball or when he can see the ball coming or whatever, like he had the other day. He makes plays every now and again. But he doesn't always stick with his guy. And a lot of times they'll try to put him on a tight end sometimes, which I don't know why, because he's too small. And he just gets beat, and it's bad. So this is a good game for him. Who knows what'll happen this week? Cardinals got a lot of receivers and Zach Ertz. So he's going to have to be on his top game no matter what's happening if they play zone or man. Because if he's playing that slot spot on defense, he could be going up against Christian Kirk. He could be going up against Zach Ertz. Could be going up against A.J. Green, who's tall. And, yeah, he's slow, but he's tall. And maybe even Hopkins if he's in the right place at the right time. I don't see the Packers playing man very much against the Cardinals because if they do, that gives Kyler Murray way too much room to run. So I see more of a zone defense this week is what I'm guessing. So they can keep the ball in front of them. But that also gives more passing lanes. And so we'll see what happens there. But I mean, I think Chad Sullivan as a whole is up and down. He's had up and down season. He had a great play right when we needed it this last Sunday, and that's awesome. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, as far as that goes, he's an awesome guy. But he's like the fourth or third best corner. If Jair comes back, I would rather have Douglas out there because I think he's just a more solid player. I think Stokes has got more upside, and I think he does play the receiver better. Shannon Sullivan plays the ball well. But I don't know if he plays the receivers well. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It sounds weird. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's just different. It's like he's a different type of player. But I do like him as a guy. You know.
All right, a couple other brief shout outs and acknowledgments from this last game. Dean Lowry ate his Wheaties again, so he's playing pretty good. We'll give him some plugs on that. And lastly, mostly because I've been so hard on him, not that he was good, but he was certainly better. And this is the most so far I've seen Royce Newman sustain blocks in a game. So Royce Newman played substantially better than he did the last couple games, better than he has all season. He was actually sustaining blocks okay on at least half the plays, which is a huge improvement for him. So
passing plays, maybe.
well, yeah, I mean the run blocking wasn't great no matter what, but I'm in the past game they had some good guy. I mean, all first round picks up there they're going against, right? And he did okay. He did pretty good. Now Billy Turner, right when they're complimenting him, he pulled the Billy Turner and got all spun around and looked like a piece of trash. But hey, I mean that's going to happen sometimes for Billy Turner, so that's what we expect.
Sometimes.
We understand. Well, I mean.
Well,
sometimes.
that's weird that you say that because Royce Newman had the second worst PFF grade for offensive players this week.
Really?
Yeah, the only player who had worst grade was AJ Dillon.
This is the best I've seen him play.
Well,
wow.
he had a 30 something rating out of 100.
Man.
AJ
wow.
Dillon had like a 29 or 28 rating out of 100.
Yikes. All right, let's talk about Thursday's game. All right, the game in 2 days. Jesus.
I've already been talking about it.
I know, but we got Devontae Adams out with COVID, we got Joe Barry out with COVID, and we got Lazard out with COVID, and who knows who else? Potentially more. Who else? Okay. We had Malik Taylor on the COVID list a couple weeks ago. Now, keep in mind, Lazard, I don't know that he tested positive, but because he's unvaccinated, he's on the COVID list. So that's a bummer because maybe if he was vaccinated, maybe he didn't actually test positive. I don't know. But anyway, that's the situation. Adams was vaccinated. He has a slight possibility of coming back. He's got to make those two negative tests 24 hours apart. I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not, but there's a chance. MVS may be coming back. Bakhtiari might be back. Now, Ben, if Bakhtiari comes back, what should the Packers do on the offensive line for this game? Who's starting?
I already told you last week.
Did you tell me? If you had all your druthers and you just said, I'm Adam Stenovich, Ben Adam Stenovich, Hafeman.
You play.
I pick who plays.
You play Bakhtiari and Yash Nyman at the tackles.
Yep.
And you do some combination of Runyon Bunyan, Jenkins, and Lukey Patrick. But they're not going to do that. But that's the best offensive line. But they're not going to do that.
Why won't they do that?
I don't know. Because they got to have Royce Newman out there.
Royce
Newman looks bad every single week. He gets the worst grade on the Packers offensive line every single week. Yet there he is out there every single week.
And Billy Turner's out there.
And Billy Turner stinks, and he's out there every single week.
And they're right next to each other.
It's really bad. And they try to run to that side all the time. That's the other thing I don't understand. At least run to the left where you got Runyon Bunyan over there, who's actually pretty decent at run blocking. And you got Elton Jenkins. You got two guards on one side. You got two tackles on the other side. Run to the side with two guards on it. It's not that hard to figure out. Run to the left. Especially if you got Jenkins and Runyon Bunyan and Lukey Patrick. That's the side you run to. Not the side with Royce Newman, who was an offensive tackle in college. They moved to guard for reasons nobody knows. And Billy Turner, who thinks he's a guard, but he's got a tackle's body, and he can't even do that. Don't run to the right. But they still do that all the time. I don't know. It's dumb. It makes no sense. And they sure as heck aren't going to listen. If people think they're going to see some kind of miracle plan this week on a 3-day week with COVID problems, they ain't going to happen this week. They're going to run their stuff. They're going to just call plays. And I don't know. Maybe they'll pull out all the stops and do some crazy stuff that they've had in the like in the playbook. But they're not going to. I don't think they're going to specifically game plan for a player because they don't know if that player is going to be there. So I think they're going to just do an offense. I think they're going to just run plays that LaFleur thinks are going to be successful. Whatever it might be, with some wrinkles and some motion and some stuff like that. But everybody has to know what their job is. But I don't think they're going to be like having plays specifically designed for certain players because they don't know who they're going to be. Like, who knows if Tunyon's going to be on COVID list or, between now and 2 days from now. Or whoever. Aaron Jones. I don't even know. Who the heck knows?
Are you telling me that we're likely to see Equanimous St. Brown starting at receiver?
Probably gonna.
Oh, God. Did you see the end around he got? How he had good blockers and he's really slow, but he decided to not read either of the blocks and just run right into in between the guys and get tackled right away. I was like, dude, it's right there. Just get to the outside.
If that was Amari Rodgers or somebody, who knows how to run between those blocks. I would like to see Winfrey in this game because he was the talk of training camp.
Right, that's true.
Everybody talked about how awesome he looked. Well, let's see him out there.
If
we don't have Lazard and we don't have Adams, and Taylor's first coming off COVID list, who knows what he's got left?
Is he back? Is he off the list yet? If not, he has a chance.
He's off the list, but
okay.
If he had COVID for the last 2 weeks, and remember when AJ Dillon had it last year, and it took him months to get back to normal again? Who knows if he's able to play at a high level when he's been sitting around for 2 weeks?
Right, that's true.
So my thing is, let's see what Winfrey's got. I mean, he's been on the practice squad this whole time. I think they activated him last week.
Blas just showed up. How you doing?
Hey,
Zero.
Blas, what's up?
Bernard thinks Rodgers needs to run more. I mean, when it's there, when there's opportunity, yeah, that's good. He just showed you he can do it. I mean, that was a big first down pickup on that critical third down. So, I mean, it was good. He can still move. And if guys are playing man defense, right, and everybody's back is turned, then it's easy peasy. Go for it.
Yeah.
So that's the time to do it.
Be man defense.
But in zones, I mean, it's rough. He's not as fast as he used to be.
You know what, though? He ran in zone on 4th and 3, and that opened up Devontae for, the touchdown there. So there's benefits to running in zones as well. He has to run to pass against the zone. Against man, he should run to run. That's all. Understand what type of defense they're going. I mean, he'll tell as soon as the play is developed, right? Or as soon as the ball snapped, if not before, he'll know what they're in. So, I mean, I think there should be more bootlegs. Try to get Rodgers out in motion to the sides. Give him a little more time. Give guys a little more time to get open, especially if we're out Devontae and Lazard and MVS might not be back. Taylor might not be back. I mean, we're going to need Tunyon to get going and some other guys to get going. And for that to happen, we're probably going to need more time. And with this offensive line, time has not been our friend. A lot of people have talked about the fact that the Packers aren't taking as many deep shots this year and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, they can't even block for more than a second and a half on offensive line. Like, how are you going to take a deep shot? And then also MVS has been out for 3-4 weeks or whatever it is. And if they think they're going to be able to pass deep on this team, they're not, unless they do something different. And I think getting them in motion and moving. I think Aaron Rodgers is faster than J.J. Watt. So wherever J.J. Watt is, whatever side he's on, I would roll out toward J.J. Watt, which sounds crazy, but I think Rodgers can outrun J.J. Watt. So there you go. And if guys don't get open, just keep running.
I like what you're saying. The only challenge is, well, the fix is fixing the offensive line and changing personnel. But if it's still the standard Newman and Turner on the right side, get that yawn out. The challenge is your right-handed quarterback most comfortable rolling to the right, right? But those are your two guys out in front of you on the right side are supposed to be kind of creating some interference on the right side. So that gives you less confidence in trying to do that. So I don't know.
Well,
I want to see an evaluation by this coaching staff and stepping up and saying, I want it to be like the front office. Okay, we're going to give the front office a little cred. Front office has said and Rick talked about it when he was on. He said, "Hey, but it's kind of like hole filling. So, you kind of take like it was their fault in the first place. They didn't fill some of these holes, but they are picking up players that they normally haven't done this before in recent years. They're picking up players and they're picking them up for need and putting them in spots, right? That they need these guys. So they're looking at their roster and saying, we're not good enough here. We're not good enough there. Plus we have injuries. Boom. And they're picking up players that might make them better. The coaching staff has to do that same hard look. I don't care what you thought the plan was or what your old version of what the starters were or any of that sort of stuff. Because Matt LaFleur, again, a couple weeks ago, mentioned that the position coaches decide who's in the game. Come on, Adam Stenovich. Let's go, boy. Butt kiss. Let's go. Get the right guys in the game if you want to be more successful. Come on. Come on. That's all I'm asking for. Right guys in the game. It's still going to be tough against Arizona. I know it. But we'll see. It would have been nice to see the Packers at closer to full strength in the matchup. It's not going to be the case. It's going to be different. Even if Adams was down, if they had everybody else, I'd feel okay. Without Lazard, especially because of his blocking on the majority run plays, and some other things he can do, and he's tall. Those are all helpful things that are kind of gone. I trust his hands better than guys they're going to put out there now, like MBS and whatnot. But who knows? Maybe they use tight ends more. Maybe Tanya is a bigger factor. I hope so. And maybe Randall Cobb gets in the mix a little bit. I mean, say one thing about Randall Cobb, right? He's little. He's not that fast anymore, whatever. But he catches the ball in traffic. He's not, like he's got strong hands to the ball. Guys are close on him. Yeah, but he hangs on to it, and he's doing pretty good. I've been impressed. Ooh, what will be O-line? We talked about O-line a little bit before you get on your Blas. Our dream O-line would be, at this point, if Bakhtiari's back and Jenkins slides back to left tackle, and Lucas Patrick should stay right at center because he's doing well. And then stick Runyon over at right guard because Royce Newman stinks, even though he had his best game, in my opinion, this last game. Other people say differently. And then Yash should be right tackle. And Billy Turner should be on the bench. And that's your best five at this point.
Okay, but that's not what's going to happen.
Not going to happen. So what's going to
be here's probably what's going to happen. It's probably going to be Bakhtiari back.
You think he's back?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
They'll put Runyon Bunyan at left guard. They'll put Jenkins at center because that's what everybody keeps talking about.
Oh my God.
They'll put Royce Newman at right guard and Billy Turner at right tackle, and then they'll lose by like 30 points. And people will be like, How could the Packers lose? Oh, I don't know, because their offensive linemen are not good and they're playing the wrong guys, the wrong combination of guys. Listen, you said it best on Friday night. You said this team is a team to win a championship, not to develop young players.
True.
If the young players are playing great, fine. Get him out there. If Eric Stokes is one of your best corners at this point, and he is, get him out there. But Myers and Newman, even when healthy, are bested by Runyon and Patrick. Period. End of story. I don't know. I think Billy Turner and Yash Nyman are probably a wash, but Yash plays till the whistle and hustles. So I like that much better than Billy Turner, who blocks for 2 seconds and then spends 5 minutes adjusting his shoulder pads, because that's what he does. Every time you see him, he's adjusting his shoulder pad. That's all he ever does is adjust his shoulder pad. Watch it once. Whenever they show a cut scene during a play, or like right before the play starts, after the huddle, even during the huddle, you'll see him, because he's facing forward during the huddle. He just listens to the play call. He's always adjusting his shoulder pads, constantly adjusting his shoulder pads. I don't know what he's got going on with the shoulder pads, but apparently he needs new ones because those are very uncomfortable for Billy Turner. And he's a designer of clothing. So maybe he can design his own shoulder pad. Maybe that's the whole point. He's like, man, I need to design my own shoulder pads that are way more comfortable than these shoulder pads. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would say.
I still think, yeah, key. I mean, you want to talk about the things that haven't gone well. Running game, the deep passing, all this sort of stuff. It all hinges on the O-line. And that's why we talk about the O-line so much. And I do think they have enough on their team, but they got to put the right guys on the field. So anyway, we'll see. It's going to be a tough go, no doubt. Arizona is going to be a challenge for sure. They got a lot of hungry guys. They got veteran guys. They got talent. They got speed. They got all kinds of stuff, right? It is scary. Bernard was scared earlier. He's probably still scared. And you probably should be. The scariest part to me is that they get out of their rush lanes and they leave Kyler Murray like wide open places to run all over the damn place. And if that happens, it's going to be rough. But if they can show some discipline and Dean can eat his Wheaties and Kenny Clark can show up and Kiki can hit jumpers and Rashawn Gary gets motivated and, does some good pass throughs and bull rushes guys, but then changes it up and hits the speed sometimes. But they do that as a unit, staying in their lanes, kind of. Then you got a chance. But I don't know. We'll see. Because
I don't.
And you're tall guys in the middle. Get your freaking hands up, dude.
Well, yes, because he's really short.
5'2".
Here's the thing I don't understand, and I understand.
You finish. Here you go.
I do want the defense to stay within their lanes. But what I think needs to happen is I almost want to see like only 3 defensive linemen on passing plays or even like 3 rushers or whatever. And have those 3 guys, like their job is solely to stay where they are to prevent Kyler Murray from rushing up the gut, force him to the outside, force him laterally. And then have one guy who's a spy and have another guy blitz from the outside. You know what I'm saying? So you have 3 big defensive linemen who hold the fort. They're not going to be fast enough to catch Kyler Murray, but their job is solely to stop the run, okay, and also hold up the offensive linemen so that Kyler Murray has no escape up the middle. Then you send a guy, and they take up the tackles, by the way, right? So they're like doing like double work. Then you send a corner on a blitz or safety or Campbell or whoever, okay, off of one side, which then forces Murray the other way. And preferably force him away from his, like I can't remember if he's left-handed or right-handed.
He's right-handed.
He's right-handed?
Yep.
Okay, well, force him left. Okay, so always blitz from the right. So he has to turn his body and hips to make an accurate throw. Right? But then also have Jalen Smith be the spy. So you're always blitzing from the left. Even if they know it's going to happen. Blitz from the left. Force him to his left, or blitz from the right, force him to his left, and have Jalen Smith spy him the whole way. So you're forcing him to throw off platform across his body. And if he decides to run, we've got a spy there who's pretty fast. Jalen Smith has got some speed and size. And he's able to maybe corral him a little bit. Obviously, we've shown him he misses tackles on guys. He missed Heineke in the freaking easy sack the other day. But those are things that, like, I don't think if they do the rush 4 guys and everybody does lane discipline, he's still going to squirt out of the side, or he's going to squirt up the middle. He's going to squirt somewhere out of there and make a play. So why don't we just clog up the middle? And he's going to run to the outside anyways. Let's force him to the side we want him to every time. And then we also can defend that side a little better. You know what I mean? our zone switches over to that side, and we force him to keep going to the left, keep going to the left, keep going to the left. On obvious passing downs, that is.
I like that.
That's what I would do against the fast corner or whatever. That's what I do in Madden, which I know people are going to be like, "What is Madden?" But that's what I do. And I'm more successful against guys on Madden who play with Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a little tougher because he's such a good passer in the game. But Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, I beat the Cardinals and the Ravens all the time. Because these players who aren't as good think they can just take these quarterbacks who are super fast and just run, and then just throw it. Or run, or if there's nobody's open, then you just run. And I call a defense with 3 down linemen, and I have a spy, and it's actually Jalen Smith. I make him the spy. And I send my blitz, and I blitz at him from the opposite side every time. I do exactly what I just said, and it works every time. Either he gets sacked by Jalen Smith, or he gets tackled by Jalen Smith before the first down marker, or the guy gets impatient and throws it into coverage, and then here, next thing you know, I actually, the funny thing, the last couple of games I played, Douglas has gotten interceptions off of Kyler Murray. I'm just saying, I'm not a genius, but I do play one on this here channel. That's how you beat Kyler Murray. Just so you know.
I think at least you're trying to dictate what they can do then. And that's at least something. You're trying to force them into something that they're should be less successful at doing than exactly what they want to do. And I like that approach. Even if you give up something or you get beat, at least you're trying to dictate the game a little more. And that's probably a good idea. Because one-on-one, trying to rely on the win your one-on-one matchup stuff, not going to work, not going to be good enough. You're not going to be able to handle it. So yeah, do something different to try to force their hand a little bit. I like that. Bernard's feeling confident. He thinks Packers are going to win 34-31. Not without some turnovers. And they get some turnovers. Turnovers are the ultimate equalizer, right? You get some turnovers against them, then yeah, you got a shot. And the Packers showing a little bit more in recent weeks that they can turn the ball over, that they can do some things and force some turnovers here. Part of that's come with pressure, and part of that's come with some new guys in the secondary that get their heads around. Now, if Savage had any ball skills, would have had a couple more turnovers in this last game. I don't know why doesn't he have better ball skills? God, for a guy that's fast and a first round pick, just catch the ball, identify the ball, cover up the ball. Come on, Savage, let's go.
All right, people, I want to know what are we going to do at the offense without Devontae Adams, without Lazard? Are we going to be okay?
We talked about it a bit. We got to go quick.
I know,
game.
but Laz is talking about it.
You got to incorporate the tight ends. Tunion's got to be a much bigger piece of the offense. You got to work the running backs. It's going to be heavy on the running backs, and it's going to be heavy tight ends. And maybe that's what you want to do more of. Maybe you want to go heavy sets. You want to go 2 tight end sets a bunch. You want to go 2 backs. Jones and Dillon at the same time. Let's get some big personnel out there and play that way, and then play action off of that. Tunyon's still fast enough, even in a heavy set offense, to be able to threaten the field. And think about that. If you got heavy sets and MVS as your one wide receiver on the field at that time, he can open some stuff up. And if they don't honor him, then you got a chance to throw it to him deep, right? I like that. Give me a lot of 2 tight end. Give me some 2 backs, maybe even 2 backs and 2 tight ends at times. And give me single receiver MVS a lot if he's there. If MVS isn't there, it changes the dynamic. But if MVS is back, I like that approach. And I think it stresses the defense because you got speed flying down the field. You got big guys that they got to contend with as blockers. So I don't know. What do you think of that?
If they can run the ball out of those big sets, then yes, then I'm happy with that. Yeah, Balaz, we are out with Lazard too. He doesn't have. We don't know if he's got COVID, but he's not vaccinated, and because he's in the wide receiver room, he's forced to be on the COVID list because he's not vaccinated, and they don't know if he has it or not because it won't show up as a positive test until later. So if he was vaccinated, he'd probably still be able to play, and he'd be fine. So
It's a bummer.
That's just the way it goes. All right, I got to go to work.
All right, go to work. You got to
If the
score.
Packers, listen, if the Packers win this game with
Yes.
this much guys out,
Say it.
and I think the only way they can win is if they do what we've been talking about for the last 2 years and start playing within the offense, playing the right guys on defense, playing the right guys on the offensive line, doing all the things that work, running the offense right. Then we need to just say how awesome we are. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right.
Because hey, but if they get blown out because they do a bunch of dumb stuff, I wouldn't be surprised either. But
Yeah.
I'm holding on to hope. This is the first Packer game this year that I'm excited to watch because I don't know what to expect. And I'm hoping that they do what I believe they can do to win. So I'm excited to see that.
And look,
go Pack, go.
If they win this, and really, there shouldn't be any pressure on them, right? They're expected to lose. Get all these guys out. Like, just cut it loose and play and see what happens, man. So, yeah, hopefully they play freer and Rodgers just lets it rip whenever he can and they run the heck out of the ball. And, yeah, and then they give themselves a chance. Again, possessing the ball will give them a better chance to win. So, longer sustained drives. All right, I'm going to say the Packers do lose, though, probably 31-24. Unfortunately, that's my prediction, but that's what I got.
I'm going to say they win. Because that's all I've been saying for the last year is that they don't need Devontae Adams and they don't need Aaron Rodgers to win. Now, they still have Aaron Rodgers, and he's still great. I'm not saying that. And Devontae's really good, too. But I just think they could pull it off if they do the right things. And I think if they can win and do what I expect, I think it'll open their eyes to the possibilities of how good they could be when the good players are back. And then I think they will be unstoppable because they'll start doing things the right way. And maybe Rodgers will realize, hey, I don't have to look at Devontae 12 times a game. I can get the ball to everybody, and we're more of a threat that way on offense. So there you go. I want to see a win.
I like it. All right. Hang in there. Go Pack, go for Thursday night. Hope they can do it. No more people on the COVID list.